memorialized in the city she called home. And Wall Street opens higher today after a strong Monday start to June. Investors shrugged off trade tensions and steel stocks soared after President Trump announced 50% tariffs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Pan comido or a piece of cake, no matter how you say it, you save at cheapoair.com/ES. The deals are fully translated in Spanish, so all you've got to do is scroll and save with deals on up to 500 airlines worldwide. cheapoair.com/ES.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The New York Mets scored 2 runs in the 10th inning last night to beat the Dodgers 4-3. 23rd home run for Shohei Ohtani. Game 2 of the Mets-Dodgers 4-game series is tonight at Dodger Stadium. 3 homers and a 6-run first inning helped the Angels hold on for a 7-6 win at Boston. The Angels are 500 on the road at 17-17. The LA Sparks have a 5-day break before their next game at Dallas Friday night. They need the extra practice time. The Sparks are 2-6 in the WNBA and are struggling with a 3-game losing streak. They haven't been above 500 since June 14, 2023. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 9-point favorites over the Indiana Pacers in Game 1 Thursday night in the NBA Finals. Before the season, the Pacers were 50-1 odds to win the NBA championship. If somebody made that bet, they are looking at a major payday if the Pacers win the title. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Never say die. Never say die. Keep on. Never say die. I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this second hour of our program. In this hour, two conversations, as I mentioned and promised earlier, on the B side of this hour. The mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Monroe Nichols, talks about the creation of the Greenwood Trust, a $105 million reparations package to address the systemic impact of the 1921 Tulsa race massacre. He made a big announcement yesterday, and I look forward to having him on this program on the B side of this hour. We commenced this hour with Elizabeth Wilkins, President and CEO of the Roosevelt Institute, for a conversation on how this Trump recession will impact black and poor people in particular. I am also curious about how the progressive legacy of FDR and Eleanor can help reshape the Democratic Party as we now know it. I think I'll start with that. Elizabeth Wilkins, good to have you on the program. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm good.
It's good to have you on the program. Let me start, as I said, with this notion of what FDR was able to accomplish alongside, of course, Eleanor Roosevelt. Are there ways you think that that legacy, that progressive legacy, can help us reshape the Democratic Party as we now know it, since they seem to be lost at the moment?
Well, yes. First of all, thank you for starting us off with the legacy of Roosevelt. I think it is particularly inspirational in this moment. You know, FDR and Eleanor walked into the White House at a moment of total economic chaos, but also when democracy was under threat, real threat from authoritarianism. Mm-hmm. And also in a moment where people were in such despair about their economic circumstances that they were really starting to think, hey, maybe fascism in Italy would be a better idea. Maybe democracy just isn't good enough to control markets and to create an economy that would work for everybody. And what FDR did was come in with energy and urgency and focus, laser focus, on how ordinary people experience the economy in their real lives, the security that they wanted, the good jobs that they wanted, the control of markets to make them work for real people. And he just worked with urgency to prove that democracy was actually the best system to deliver that. And I think that is what we have really lost. People are frustrated, understandably so, that this system of government and this economy is not allowing them to get ahead. It's not giving them opportunity. It's giving them precarious jobs. It's giving them no entrepreneurship opportunities. And now we're reaping the consequences of that, right? People are willing to bet on a wrecking ball rather than on the status quo. And so I think what we need to do is to get some of that urgency to be able to prove again that democratic institutions can really deliver for people.
Mm-hmm. To your mind, what is it that Trump is doing that is most antithetical to what FDR and Eleanor did with their progressive agenda?
Well, two things. One, on democracy, we're seeing absolutely the opposite thing. Mm-hmm. They are not respecting Congress. Mm-hmm. They are, sort of amassing power for themselves. And their agenda is not one of public interest, right? It is one of private enrichment. This is sort of like a cronyism government in which the levers of power are used to enrich a ruling family. Mm-hmm. And the other piece is, I think when people voted this fall, they tried to vote for someone who they thought was going to deliver for them, right? The president promised to lower prices, to fix inflation, to bring back good jobs. And what we're seeing instead is someone who is implementing a chaotic tariff policy that means that small businesses don't know whether to invest or not. How are he supposed to take advantage of an entrepreneurial opportunity in this environment? Prices are going to go up, not down. Chaos is going to be more, not less. People want, some measure of security, stability, a decent job, the knowledge that they can pay for their groceries next week. And that's not at all. That's not what this administration is delivering. That's not what FDR tried to deliver, right?
It raises a fundamental question for me, which is whether or not Democrats in this moment can, how might I put it, can they reclaim economic populism. Can Democrats reclaim this mantle, this notion of economic populism? We'll continue with that when we come forward with Elizabeth Wilkins of the Roosevelt Institute on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866. 800-857-8866.
You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Elizabeth Wilkins, who's president and CEO of the Roosevelt Institute. There's no doubt that Joseph R. Biden, Jr., President Biden, aspired to an FDR-style presidency. Historians will have a field day, I'm sure, in the years to come, assessing whether or not he achieved his goal of, again, having an FDR-type presidency. But I note, Elizabeth, and you know this as well as I do, there were all kinds of comparisons made between Donald Trump's first 100 days and that of FDR, given how busy FDR was in his first 100 days, how busy Donald Trump was in his first 100 days. I'm not naive. Busy does not mean you're busy doing the right thing, does not mean you're busy doing things that enhance and enable people's lives or enable people to live better lives. But I saw all these comparisons between Donald Trump and FDR a few weeks ago at the 100-day mark. Of course, if my recollection is correct, FDR was the first president to actually use that first 100-day sort of framework. But tell me what you made of all these comparisons, what you make of these comparisons between FDR's first 100 days and Donald Trump's first 100 days.
I really like one thing I saw in one of these articles that said Donald Trump is sort of the anti-FDR, which is to say the following, right? FDR uses his first 100 days to build something, right? To create structures that he needed to manage a crisis towards a resolution that would be good for people, to build new agencies that were going to support farmers, that were going to make sure that people had jobs, had food relief. Trump was doing the opposite. He was using 100 days to destroy. He destroyed an agency, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that is all about protecting people from, rapacious or overbearing corporations trying to nickel and dime them. He destroyed the Department of Education, supporting fair and equal education for all children. He destroyed some of our most important research facilities, which is a driver of American innovation, ingenuity, and economic growth, which is what we need to be able to provide the lives that people want to live in this country. So, there's a huge difference between building and destroying. Building is what FDR did, and destroying is what Trump did in those first 100 days.
Yeah. The question I raised earlier that I want to get to now, or let you get to, is whether or not, speaking of FDR, whether or not Democrats in this moment can reclaim this mantle, this notion of economic populism. What say you?
I think we have to.
Yeah.
I think we have to. Democrats say they are the party of the working class, right? And that starts with truly respecting working people in this country, listening to people when they say, here's the trouble that I am having in my life. I'm not going to come to you and say I have this big economic policy plan. I'm going to say I can't afford my rent. I can't predict what my home insurance is going to be next month. I can't juggle 3 jobs. I don't know whether I can afford childcare or where my kid is going to go tomorrow or whether I will have the time to drop them off. Those are the questions and the problems that people are asking us to solve, and they're asking us to solve them with urgency and also with dignity and respect. So it is our job as policymakers not to have ideas cooked up in a lab that we think are excellent, expert, et cetera, but for us to really listen and say, all right, we're going to work with urgency and purpose towards solving those real problems for you. And another thing that I would say specifically about populism is, when you ask people who are the they, who's keeping you down? What's the problem here? Obviously some people don't like government, but a lot of people also correctly identify big companies as another actor in the world that is removing opportunity and making life worse for people. So, for example, people rightly don't like being denied healthcare coverage. People don't like being charged overdraft fees. People know that they are losing control over the basic things in their life that they want to make sure that they can control to provide for themselves and their families. We need to start fighting for people. We need to start showing that we are not afraid of powerful interests. We need to show that we are on people's side and we are willing to make hard choices and do hard things to put them first.
I was reading a piece last night written by my friend Robert Kuttner, co-written by Robert Kuttner in the American Prospect. And the American Prospect for me is must reading. I often get asked what I read, and there are many things I read, of course, trying to prepare for this show every day for 3 hours. But one of the things on my list of must-read copy is the American Prospect, and Robert Kuttner is a fairly regular contributor to this program. But to your point about leading, I want to just read a short paragraph from a piece that he wrote recently in the American Prospect. He said the Democrats have another core challenge. In this piece, he's laying out all the core challenges Democrats have. And so this paragraph starts with this. The Democrats have another core challenge. With more than 3 years to go before the next presidential election, they are leaderless. Their nominal leaders are far from inspiring. Senate Leader Chuck Schumer and House Leader Hakeem Jeffries are not fighters. In this context, leadership passes to whoever starts behaving like a leader. I repeat, in this context, this leaderless context, leadership passes to whoever starts behaving like a leader. Your take on that notion?
I absolutely believe that we need new leaders. We need folks who believe in their bones that everybody deserves a shot, that believe in economic justice and fairness, and can talk about it with authenticity and with urgency. I am a little bit more optimistic than that. One could see a moment of chaos, or one could see a moment of opportunity, right? We are seeing, I think one of the most exciting things that I'm seeing is this anti-oligarchy tour by Senator Sanders, Bernie Sanders. These huge crowds that he is drawing, right? Because people are frustrated, people are angry, and they are looking for someone who can give voice to that and also give a vision for where we go. The thing that I find most exciting about that tour is that it's not Bernie Sanders by himself. I watched more than just his speech for his rally that he did in Colorado, and I can tell you he had a whole lineup of people come speak to the crowd before him, right? This is what we need to be doing, just testing out new leaders who can actually talk to people, who have a program that's exciting, give them a platform, see how they do. The other thing that Bernie Sanders is doing is he's taking people on tour with him, right? So everybody has seen AOC going on tour with him. But it's not just AOC. He's also brought Representative Chris DeLuzio from Pennsylvania. He's also brought Representative Greg Casar from Texas. This is what it looks like to bring a new generation of leadership along, to lift them up, to give them a chance. We have some years to throw some people out there, let them talk to real people, see if they can do it, kind of have the town hall test of, can you speak to people? Can you propose ideas that are going to excite them and speak to their hopes and to their fears? So to me, yes, the way to think about, whoever the leader is, the person who starts acting like it. Let's do some experimenting and see whose ideas are going to catch fire, who can really communicate. And in this moment, who can have some fight in them about the urgency that we need to fix the stuff that people have been saying are broken for so long.
Yeah. So I wanted to start this conversation in an FDR frame, and we've done that. In the 5 minutes I have left, let me pivot now to the other issue that I raised. I want to get your take on, and that is how a possible recession is specifically going to impact Black America. And it seems to me that if Donald Trump keeps up this tariff talk, he's going to do just that, end up pushing us into a recession. And won't that be fascinating? Because the folk who supported Donald Trump did so in part, the polling tells us, the data tells us, because I thought he'd be better on the economy. But he keeps up this tariff talk, he's going to push us straight away into a recession, and that's going to impact Black folk and poor people in particular. In what ways, Elizabeth Wilkins?
This is a great point. This is really, really kind of incredible to see us shooting our own selves in the foot here, right? Obviously, people were very concerned about inflation at the end of the Biden administration. People were concerned about inflation worldwide. People threw out incumbents worldwide, and they voted for what they thought was going to be better for them on the economy. Joe Biden left us actually a pretty strong economy, right? He ran a recovery that was a full employment recovery. We got employment way, way, way down. And just speaking of the Black community, we know that Black unemployment rates are always higher than the average. But that also means that when we get to full employment, the people who benefit the most are black workers who are drawn out in from the sidelines and get to go to work and get to have better jobs. And the other thing we know is that when there is a tight labor market, that is when there is full employment and there are fewer jobs to go around, that means workers have more power. It means that bosses have to raise wages to retain their workers. It means that they start treating their workers better because they want to retain their workers. So a full employment economy is crucial to all workers, but especially to black workers who are always the last hired and the first fired. Conversely, once we see what we could be getting into, a kind of man-made recession, or even if we don't see a full recession, a man-made softening of our economy, one of the first things to go will be that full employment. Right now, we're back to 4.2% unemployment. That's up from a year ago. That's overall, but the black unemployment is 6%. And it only gets worse from there as we see our economic indicators softening more and more. The other thing I would say is, small and mid-sized businesses are suffering the most. They're the ones who can't afford to weather higher prices for their imports. They're the ones who can't afford to stockpile, who need to plan for the future. And so, I worry for small and mid-sized business owners, especially Black and Latino business owners who are just trying to make it through a particularly chaotic economic time.
No, this is me being perhaps a bit more transparent than I perhaps care to be, but I want to just make this point, given that you've gone there. Over the last number of weeks, I have received not one, not two, more than a few letters from ad agencies who specialize in delivering advertisements to minority media, black-owned media in this country. And there are a number of these ad agencies that are just gobsmacked in this moment. And they've literally been sending me messages. I'm sure my other colleagues who own talk stations across the country are getting these same kind of letters where these agencies are apologizing for not sending us spots, not sending us ad revenue. But the attack on DE&I and everything and anything connected to it has slowed down the money from corporations, etc., who have typically spent money on urban media, as we call it. And so these agencies are apologizing to us for not sending us more spots. And so to your point, not only are these agencies going to be impacted by that, some of them owned by people of color, and they've been, the conduit to get money to black media. Black media is going to suffer because money is drying up to support us doing the work that we are doing. So you're right. These small businesses are going to take it on the chin in the months to come. Again, if Donald Trump continues down this particular path, it may even again push us into a recession. That is. So I hope that black folk are bracing for effects. Because I think the worst is still yet to come, sadly. I thank Elizabeth Wilkins, President and CEO of the Roosevelt Institute, that is, for coming on this program. I should mention at the close here that she just happens to be, she's a star in her own right, of course, doing some amazing work running the Roosevelt Institute in her own right, but she just happens to be the daughter of the legendary civil rights leader, lawyer, and professor Roger Wilkins, who was there working alongside LBJ. Speaking of great presidents, I had the honor of knowing her father, interviewing him any number of times over the course of my career. So I just want to just shout out and give some proper respect to your father. Elizabeth, thanks for coming on the program. All the best to you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The first black mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma is proposing a reparations plan for descendants of the 1921 race massacre. Mayor Monroe Nichols wants a private trust to fund housing and scholarships, no direct cash.
The Greenwood Trust will raise and facilitate the investment of $105 million in private funds along our roads repair, restoration, and right.
The City Council must approve any asset transfers. Washington, D.C. has unveiled Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza, honoring one of just 3 women to play in the Negro Leagues. The 5'3" pitcher had a 33-8 record in the 1950s. Johnson, who died in 2017, is now memorialized in the city she called home. And Wall Street opens higher today after a strong Monday start to June. Investors shrugged off trade tensions and steel stocks soared after President Trump announced 50% tariffs. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Pan comido or a piece of cake, no matter how you say it, you save at cheapoair.com/ES. The deals are fully translated in Spanish, so all you've got to do is scroll and save with deals on up to 500 airlines worldwide. cheapoair.com/ES.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The New York Mets scored 2 runs in the 10th inning last night to beat the Dodgers 4-3. 23rd home run for Shohei Ohtani. Game 2 of the Mets-Dodgers 4-game series is tonight at Dodger Stadium. 3 homers and a 6-run first inning helped the Angels hold on for a 7-6 win at Boston. The Angels are 500 on the road at 17-17. The LA Sparks have a 5-day break before their next game at Dallas Friday night. They need the extra practice time. The Sparks are 2-6 in the WNBA and are struggling with a 3-game losing streak. They haven't been above 500 since June 14, 2023. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 9-point favorites over the Indiana Pacers in Game 1 Thursday night in the NBA Finals. Before the season, the Pacers were 50-1 odds to win the NBA championship. If somebody made that bet, they are looking at a major payday if the Pacers win the title. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
So whenever the mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma is on this program, I always bring him on with something from the Gap Band. You know why. GAP, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. The three areas in Tulsa for which the Gap Band is named. Yesterday, we celebrated the 72nd birthday of Dr. Cornel West. And the audience, I think, learned a lot about Cornel West in the hour that we had him on yesterday celebrating his birthday. He turned 72 yesterday, and he and Uncle Charlie were born in the same hospital in Tulsa, just 6 months apart. Uncle Charlie born in January, Dr. West born in June, literally in the same hospital in Tulsa. Somebody said, can anything good come out of Tulsa? Well, if you can produce Charlie Wilson and Cornel West at the same hospital 6 months apart, surely some good can and has come out of Tulsa. And I am delighted to have the mayor of Tulsa, Monroe Nichols, back on this program. Mayor Nichols, how are you today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. It's good to be with you again.
It's good to hear your voice again. I wanted to have you on, and thank you. I know the whole world is trying to get to you. We all saw the big announcement yesterday about the Greenwood Trust, this $105 million reparations package as a way for the city to address the systemic impact of the 1921 Tulsa race massacre. When you were last on this program, you teed up for me and this audience that you were working on something big. You were working on it. You couldn't talk about it then, but you told us then you were working on something big, and you dropped it yesterday. Tell me about the Greenwood Trust.
Yes, sir, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about it. The Greenwood Trust, we wanted to create something that could be sustainable over a long period of time. Mitigating harm that has aged 104 years is not something that gets done in 6 months or a week. And the goal was to build something that was durable. And so what we outlined was a private charitable trust that we're going to raise the resources to invest in the things that would have made the Greenwood District what it should have been and what it could have been had it been allowed to thrive uninterrupted without the massacre. That includes things like a $24 million fund for housing and home ownership. And I think the important thing, Tavis, all the things that we're doing are things that come from the dissenting community, their recommendations. So that $24 million housing and home ownership numbers, because wealth is driven by property, something that was stolen away. We're going to reinvest there. $60 million into our cultural landmarks, but also into these surviving entities and the infrastructure there to make way for economic development that we're going to incentivize. And then a $21 million endowment fund. It's going to go to college scholarships, but also go to business grants, no interest loans. We also are going to continue the Graves investigation. We have one individual, a veteran, black veteran that was identified, Mr. C.L. Daniel. We have some more that we believe are buried in mass graves. We're on that pursuit. And we also released 45,000 pages of documents that the city had relating to the massacre. So this is about transparency, accountability, but it's also about repair and restoration. And that's what the Road to Repair is all about. And that's what we announced on Sunday.
I've got some questions about what you just laid out. Before I get to my questions, though, I want to just play some sound from a woman you know rather well, Mother Viola Ford Fletcher, now the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre, at 111 years of age. You heard the mayor mention that part of this Greenwood Trust is for college scholarships. I had Mother Fletcher on this program not too long ago, and I asked her a particular question. Hear the question, but more importantly, listen to her response.
All these years later, what do you think you were denied because of what happened?
Well, a chance to go to school and get a good education. I think education is the most important thing that, that we humans, especially the black people, should have.
That's right.
Because, we're pushed back because we are uneducated and all of that. But that was really, destroyed what my family got. Yeah. Because after that, we was, forced to leave town. Well, without, I don't know, the knowledge of doing things. Well, we worked as farmers, sharecropped people's farms and worked in the cotton fields. And then when you work for families like that, you don't get to go to school the full 9 months.
That's right.
You can only go to school when the weather is bad. If the sun is shining and the weather's good, well, you go to the field and work. So that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Mayor, when you hear Mother Viola Ford Fletcher all these years later suggest that the thing she missed out on most was a high quality education, you think what?
Man, Tavis, I'm sitting over here just listening to her voice, and it gave me goosebumps, got my heart beating fast. I saw her whole family on Sunday, generations of that family, and I think about the work out ahead of us, and this is work we have to do. Both her and Mother Randall were there, and I talked about them having to flee the home that their families built, and they were in a community that held within it every possibility of a bright and prosperous future. That's what she's talking about. And that's the reason why we invest in these things, because we recognize that we have generational harm that we have to address. And that's what we effort to do.
As mayor of Tulsa, you are, of course, historic in your own right, but how did it feel for you to be standing there rolling out this Greenwood Trust, this $105 million reparations package, forcing the city to take responsibility, with Mother Viola Ford Fletcher and Mother Randall on stage next to you, man? How did that feel?
It's a feeling I never ever thought I would have in my life. I wouldn't have even been able to conceive what that was like. And there's some part about it, Tavis, that I'm not sure I even understand the full gravity of it, because there's so much work that we have to do. But then I think about how long it has taken. One of my reactions is this took way too long for us to step up and do what was necessary. And then I remember a conversation that I had with Reverend William Barber when he was here in 2021 about the massacre in Wilmington, North Carolina. I think about all these other stories across this country, and hoping that not only what we're doing is providing a pathway to do this stuff in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but maybe we're opening up new ways in which other communities across this country, at a time we're having a really weird conversation about diversity, but we're opening up new avenues across this country for how you begin to mitigate harm in ways that is sustainable, that makes a generational impact. And I have to tell you, I told you this when I was on with you last time, that covenant book that I had when I was real young, the one that you signed for me, this is where the foundations of that was laid. How do we think about equity? How do we think about investing in these things? And how do you respond to a massacre even 104 years later and work on the structural issues I see how all these things come together, and those are the kind of things that give me goosebumps. But it also provides the resolve necessary to go and get it done, and that's what I'm very much focused on right now.
You always honor me by coming on this program, but you especially honor me by even referencing the Covenant with Black America text. That is one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, in my career. Went to #1 of the New York Times bestseller list, stayed there for many, many weeks. That book, The Covenant with Black America, again, I've been blessed to do a lot in my career, but nothing am I more proud of than being able to pull together that book, The Covenant. When we come forward, I want to go back to what you raised a moment ago, and you laid out all these pieces of what the Greenwood Trust is, this $105 million reparations package. But I'm particularly fascinated by these 45 pages of documents that you all released. Why am I fascinated by it? Because as you mentioned, we're in a moment right now where DE&I and everything connected to it is being attacked, and we're in a moment where we don't want to teach the truth in our school system. And I am fascinated again and grateful to you for releasing those 45,000 pages of documents. What's in those pages? I'm curious to talk about that with Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. June is Men's Mental Health Month, and my guy, it's time to talk. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, to keep everything together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year. Men are also less likely to seek therapy than women, which means depression among men often goes underdiagnosed. If you're a man and you're feeling the weight of the world, the strongest thing you can do is ask for help. Talk to someone, anyone, a therapist, a friend, a loved one, because real strength comes from being honest about what you're carrying and doing something about it. Therapy can help you find your way, and BetterHelp makes it easy to start. Take a short online quiz and connect with a qualified therapist from the privacy of home. Every man deserves better. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABC Radio for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABC Radio.
Less monologue,
more dialogue.
Tavis Smiley continues right now.
It does indeed with the mayor, the historic mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma, Mayor Monroe Nichols, who I'm honored to have back on this program. So you mentioned as part of this, the Greenwood Trust, this $105 million reparations package, you all released 45,000 pages of documents. Tell me about those pages, why you released it, what's in it, what scholars are going to learn from it. Just give me a sense of these 45,000 pages, Mayor.
Yeah, so really that came at the recommendation of good friend of mine, Mario Solomon Simmons. Justice for Greenwood's been fighting for a long time to get the documents from the massacre released, and that's what we did. And so the documents are everything from some land records to communications between elected officials at the time of the massacre. Every one of them actually can be found online now at www.cityoftulsa.org/road to repair. I think once people pour into it, I think it gives you a sense of kind of maybe some promises made, promises broken, some of those conversations that were had at the time, but also, a pretty good accounting of what the Greenwood district looked like, what was burned down, those types of things. And so I'm really excited that we now are starting to move in a place where, like I've said over and over again, we don't have to fear what happened. The facts of the massacre are undeniable. The only thing that we have in front of us now is to be as transparent as possible as we work to heal. Part of mitigating harm, Tavis, in my view, is not just the investment in things like scholarships, the investment in things like affordable housing or housing overall and all those kind of things. Part of it is just the trust that's established with the community, where there are no more secrets about this that we're holding on to, and that we're going to have a very open, honest, very transparent conversation about how we move forward. And us holding on to those documents was not in service of doing that. Releasing them for the community and for the world, I think, was critically important, and I was very proud of that part of the plan that we implemented.
As you should be. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Mayor Monroe Nichols of Tulsa, I want to ask him two things. One, no naivete here. He said earlier it shouldn't have taken this long. Why did it take this long? Maybe the answer is because it took this long for Monroe Nichols to show up. Maybe that's the answer. But why did it take so long? Why so much pushback? Why so much denial all these years in Tulsa, for that matter, in the state of Oklahoma? Why so long? Then secondly, now that it's happened, I am curious as to the response that he's getting. How have folk in the city of Tulsa, in the state of Oklahoma, responded to this $105 million reparations package? Those two questions to the mayor of Tulsa, Monroe Nichols, when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive so you can stop worrying about them and invent new things to worry about, like snakes in your bedroom. Sure, that sounds incredibly irrational, but now that we've mentioned it, you are a little worried. The odds of one snake, let alone snakes plural, are so slim. But you might want to check. Oh, you're not near your bedroom. Guess you'll just have to sit there and worry about it. So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
More honesty than you can handle.
More empowerment than you can imagine.
You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley, the mayor of Tulsa, Monroe Nichols, for a few more minutes, 3 or 4 minutes here to be to the top of the hour. I am fascinated by what you have done here, Mayor, with this Greenwood Trust, this $105 million reparations package. More than fascinated, I am grateful that it finally happened. No naivete here. Why did this take so long?
Yeah, Tavis, we spent the first 80 years after the massacre, nobody talked about it. People who grew up here, black, white, wasn't taught about in school or anything like that. It was hidden from history books for a very, very long time. It was only because of folks like Eddie Faye Gates and others who were collecting the stories, Charles Ogletree, collecting the stories of these survivors, now those who have passed on, to keep that going. And the city didn't even issue an apology probably until the early 2000s, somewhere around in there. And so part of it was there was this effort to make it as though it did not exist. And then once you have that, it's like, what do you do about it? And I think it was just a lack of courage. It's very tough, for a lot of folks to have a conversation like this. And I was taken by President Biden when he was here on the 100th anniversary in 2021. Mm-hmm. He talked about having the courage to change the things we know we can change. I think for some people, it's almost like 300 dead, all these years later, what can you do in the political divisiveness of the conversation? My attitude was, it's not divisive. This is a historical fact. Yeah. The only thing out in front of us is what we're going to do about a historical fact. And you can sit there and if you have a common cold, Tavis, one school of thought is it'll go away. The other school of thought is it might become pneumonia. Mm-hmm. And it became pneumonia here. Yeah. And we're not going to get past it unless we address it very directly. And for me, I think it's because, it was hidden from history. Then there was a question of courage. But we're past those things now. We're past those things now and ready to take action.
Yeah. And finally here in 90 seconds, what kind of response have you gotten? I've seen all the national media about this story. Again, honored always that you take my phone call and come on when I invite you on. But what kind of response are you getting inside your city and the state of Oklahoma?
I think mainly positive. I mean, one of the positive parts about it is us putting ourselves on the hook for raising the private capital for it and the city supporting in ways that the city can support. And there are other folks who are going to have, have strong opinions the other way. Why do you do it after 104 years? All that kind of stuff is my belief. This is what decent people in great societies do. And for me, I think about, this is a 4-year term for me. Hopefully, we do a good enough job to stick around for a little while. But I know I only got so much time to serve in office, whether it be long or whether it be short. And you have to do the things that matter. And so come what may, we are focused on making sure that we repair and mitigate the harm from the massacre, because ultimately that is the only way this city that I love so much gets to move forward. And so we're very much focused on it. I pray for those who lost their lives in the massacre, for our 2 survivors, for the descendants who still fight for justice. And I pray for our entire country, because this is an important conversation for us to have. And I'm happy to have Tulsa leading the way.
Somebody once said that every race of people ought to be judged by the best they've been able to produce, and Monroe Nichols is among the best that our race has produced, and they are blessed to have him as the mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it took his being there. I know the answer why it took this long to get him there. That's why it happened, and I want to just say that. It's the Greenwood Trust, a $105 million reparations package brought to us by the Tulsa Mayor Monroe Nichols. Mayor, you're doing good work, man. Honored to have you on this program. Hope to see you soon. All the best to you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The first black mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma is proposing a reparations plan for descendants of the 1921 race massacre. Mayor Monroe Nichols wants a private trust to fund housing and scholarships, no direct cash.
The Greenwood Trust will raise and facilitate the investment of $105 million in private funds along our road to repair, restoration, and righteousness.
The City Council must approve any asset transfers. Washington, D.C. has unveiled Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza, honoring one of just 3 women to play in the Negro Leagues. The 5'3" pitcher had a 33-8 record in the 1950s. Johnson, who died in 2017, is now memorialized in the city she called home. And Wall Street opens higher...
CheapoAir.com/ES.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The New York Mets scored 2 runs.